Welcome back to Ben Leo Tonight. The first of tomorrow's newspapers have just dropped. We've got a sneak peek. Let's start with the Sunday Telegraph. And actually one story pretty much dominates all newspapers tomorrow. Donald Trump turns against Vladimir Putin. That now iconic picture of the US President and Volodymyr Zelensky having a one-to-one meeting on some chairs in the Basilica during the Pope's funeral. The Observer, again running with that picture. The headline reads, "The Pope's Last Act." The Sunday Express, "Farewell Francis, 400,000 mourners gather for Pope's funeral." And free inside, VE Day 80th anniversary pullout. Well done to the Express. The Sunday Mirror, "Hope amid the tears. Trump and Zelensky in peace talks before ceremony for Pontiff." We can see the coffin there of Pope Francis being carried through the Basilica. And again, that now, it's got to be said, it's going to be iconic, that picture of Trump and Zelensky talking. The Independent, "Pope Francis laid to rest. Sea of mourners bid farewell as much-loved Pontiff is buried at his favourite church outside the Vatican walls." And the Mail on Sunday, I just teased it at the top of the show. Seemingly a good story here, an exclusive. After the PM's years of dithering over the true definition of a woman, a new book reveals Keir Starmer's ex-girlfriend is a pro-trans judge. We'll talk about that in just a second. I guess that speaks volumes. Welcome back to my panel. Linda Jubilee, Paul Richards, Peter Blexley. Should we talk about a story that's going to be in the Sunday Telegraph tomorrow? I've mentioned it a few times this evening. It is an absolutely blistering attack from Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the opposition, the Conservative Party, on Keir Starmer. Paul Richards, I'm sure you've clocked your eyes on this already. Kemi Badenoch says Keir Starmer is a coward with no moral core. She said that he's been weak and he has no courage to admit the mistakes he's made, particularly in response to the Supreme Court trans ruling. Writing for the Sunday Telegraph, she has said that the deeply personal attack, as it's described, comes off the back of her saying he can't lead, Keir Starmer. He cannot lead because he doesn't know where he's going. Our Prime Minister just says whatever he needs to get through the next news cycle, the next day or the next election. That's not leadership, that's cowardice. There's no conviction, no moral core, just performance. And when faced with hard decisions, writes Badenoch, he dodges them and he breaks his promises. Paul Richards, what do you make of this attack?
Well, I think it says more about Kemi Badenoch than it does about Keir Starmer. We've got elections on Thursday, as you know, Ben, and I think she's sort of scrabbling around for votes. But let's see what the voters think on Friday morning. You know, we'll get the results in of how they viewed the Conservative leadership over the last 6 months, whether they think the Conservative Party is back in business or not, and whether this sort of attack, the kind of name-calling and so on, whether that actually works electorally. We'll find out, won't we?
Linda?
I don't think it does say more about her than it does about him. It's not very edifying to hear someone be that personal in a political attack. I agree with that. But the fact is, Keir Starmer doesn't know where he's going because he doesn't know where he stands. That's the real problem. He can't define his position. Therefore, he cannot outline his purpose or his vision for his campaign going forward. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be rectified. I'm saying he's making mistake after mistake after mistake because he hasn't got a roadmap on anything, because he doesn't know where he is at the moment.
I think that would have been perhaps true 6 months ago, but now European rearmament is now this animating mission now for the West, isn't it? And for Labour in particular in government.
Does that matter to the average voter?
No.
Well, I think it does. Well, I think it does, because it's about defence of our country and our democracy, isn't it?
They don't.
It's an abstract
We
thing.
know GBNews viewers were supported shifting money from into defence and from the overseas development budget.
But
that's
Paul,
generally, time with people.
If you ask some working class families up north or in the Midlands or whatever, and you say, what are your priorities? Is it European boosting defence, or is it paying the energy bills or the council tax?
But we know that. But we know
having migrants, in your communities, desecrating the culture of the area.
We know, don't we? Though, if we do boost defence expenditure, it'll create more jobs. There'll be more jobs in the defence industry, apprenticeships.
It's not a vote winner, though.
It is. Because it's growth, isn't it? People go into the army, get trades, professions. It's important.
Peter, sorry, go on.
Playground politics. Name-calling, right? Why are all these politicians such juvenile idiots? Why can't they get on with running the country properly?
But she's not running the country, is she?
You've had your time.
No, sure, fair enough.
For the benefit of us who go to work, pay our taxes, abide by the laws of the land, raise great children and contribute to society. Why cannot politicians be grown up and do everything every day for the benefit of us?
But do you not give Kemi Badenoch credit for calling out Keir Starmer? I mean, you said similar things about Keir Starmer in the first hour of the show, so do you not give her credit for, I guess...
I have no time whatsoever for Keir Starmer. I'm really, really not a fan. And of course, what is unravelling is the fact that he didn't get elected on a big ideological platform to change the country, to really be a face of difference and to do things properly. He got elected because everybody was sick to the back teeth of the previous Tory shambles. That's why he got elected. Now, because, of course, he's found to be a man of very little substance, he's coming unravelled. He's going to get spanked at these local elections during this week. But I wish that Kemi Badenoch would be a bit more grown up about things. I wish they all would be.
Peter, you were touching on something quite, I'd describe as quite poignant, actually, before we had to come into the next hour. You were saying it's been proven time and time again that politicians of all colours and stripes are just lying. They're lying to the public about this, that and everything. Migration, about net zero, about whatever. They are liars.
All the messaging that we've been told that we have to conform with for the last 30 years has turned out to be a fundamental lie. Multiculturalism has not uniformly worked for the bettering of the country. Mass immigration has not uniformly worked for the bettering of the country. Allowing people to identify as goats, unicorns and hamsters has not worked for the bettering of the country. And yet we've had this messaging rammed down our throats. Comply or else, and look where it's got us.
Because it's short-termism on both sides. And indeed, you could include the Lib Dems on this on the third
Yes,
side.
let's. Absolutely. Bad time we got there.
But it's short-termism. It's forming policy because of how it will communicate, not forming policy and then communicate what you believe to be the answer.
There's another word for it that begins with B and ends with S.
Let's look at the front page of the Mail on Sunday. Peter, I love you. The front page of the Mail on Sunday, similar tone of conversation. Keir Starmer's ex-girlfriend is a pro-trans judge, according to the Mail. They said the Prime Minister had a long-term romance with a judge who has been accused of being influenced by trans activists. That's according to a new biography. Linda, what makes me laugh about Keir Starmer this week coming out and saying, oh, thank goodness we've got clarity about what a woman is? It's like, goodness me, you are the leader of a nation. You're meant to be inspiring millions of people. You're meant to be setting by example because you're a great mind, you're inspirational, and you're waiting for clarity of definition of a woman from a bunch of legal eagles in the court. I mean,
well, it was
what does
ridiculous because he was clear enough about what his position was earlier,
Yeah.
and it's not this position that was outlined by the Supreme Court last week.
No.
And it goes back to what I was saying. He doesn't really know how to pin his feet to the floor about the key issues that matter, and because he's not a leader.
Paul Richards, can I ask you an honest question?
I hope so. I hope all your questions are honest, aren't they?
Well, I'd like an honest answer as well. I don't want any Labour spin.
That's different then.
I don't want any Labour spin or, defending the government. I just want an honest answer from you,
Go on.
Paul Richards, because I know you're a good man. How do you rate Keir Starmer's performance so far?
Well, I didn't vote for him as to be leader of the Labour Party. I voted for somebody else. And I think in the role, he has grown in opposition. He sorted out Labour's enemies. He got rid of all the anti-Semites. He got rid of all the Corbynites. Then he's won a landslide, which, very few Labour leaders have ever done in history.
It was a lower vote share than Corbyn.
But it was still a landslide, pretty substantial victory.
Landslide, that they call it.
Well, it's fair enough, but I'm just saying, electorally successful. Now in government, I think the first few months were rocky, but now with the realities of Putin at our door, that he's now found a mission, which is we need to rearm, and I think that now gives him on the world stage real leadership.
But we need to focus on domestic policy.
To answer your question, I think he has grown into the role and he's getting better at it as he's gone along.
Out of 10, what would you mark him?
8.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Quite high then.
Yeah, and I am a Labour man, but I'm not just a tribal loyalist.
Yeah.
Under Corbyn, I was very happy to criticise the Labour leader, so I think he's doing a good job in a difficult situation. Well, I think all Prime Ministers are unpopular at this stage of an electoral cycle. I think as the policies start to work, and I hope they will, and as we all do, the houses get built and all the rest of it. We've already got the waiting list coming down in the health service, so things are starting to turn around. Right. I think by the time of the next election, the public will take a view.
Was Tony Blair this unpopular?
Yes. Well, don't you remember?
No, he wasn't.
Tony Blair, all the rest of it.
Truly shocking element to this story on the Mail on Sunday is that Keir Starmer's had more than one girlfriend. Can you absolutely... I can't believe that actually 2 women will have got into bed with him. That is staggering.
Not at the same time, though, Peter.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, who's so...
Let's not go down this path.
I mean, the story is just basically somebody flogging a book, though, isn't it? Let's face it. Why is that the only front page of that story? All the rest of the Pope, quite rightly.
Well,
this is an exclusive because someone's serialising a book.
To be fair to the Mail, they have led with the Pope as well at the top. Also, interesting story at the bottom. Tory leader Kemi Badenoch admits she's had her own run-in with predatory men, which maybe explains why she's so vocal about the trans debate.
Fair.
Right,